So as an entrepreneur, it is all too common to feel anxious and or stressed, whether that's fear of failure, whether that is the pressure to succeed, fear of the unknown, the uncertainty of will this work out in business, any of that. This is something that we are going to deal with as entrepreneurs. And of course, on some level, it's normal to respond to stress with, anxiety and a kind of anxious reaction. But in the long term, it's really detrimental to our health, our mental health, emotional health, physical health, if we don't learn how to more effectively deal with things that cause anxiety and or stress. And so in today's video, I'm gonna come with some solutions, possible solutions here to help you really deal with that anxiety or stress, not only now in the moment, but in the long term. How do you shift to become a more calm, relaxed, confident, in the flow entrepreneur so you can achieve what you want in your business and life? And before we dive in, I just want to welcome you to my channel, whether you're new or a returning subscriber. My name's David Hamilton. I'm a professional coach and I specialize in helping entrepreneurs and high achievers to become the best version of themselves, right? And dealing with stress, anxiety, fear, self-doubt, all these types of things, which are normal to a certain degree, but they really get in the way of us being at our best in our most confident version in our flow so that we can run, operate, grow our businesses to the level that we want so we can impact the world, make the revenue that we want, and live the lifestyle that we want ultimately. And make sure that you stay all the way to the end so that you can get all these strategies here and really formulate a plan to help you deal with the stress that you're currently undergoing in your business. And so the first thing I want to talk about here is the difference between anxiety and stress, because they're often used interchangeably, right? The psychological definition of stress is something that's occurring right now that if it gets removed from our life, our stress or anxiety that we feel goes away, right? Anxiety is a persistent mental issue of whether something is there or not. It could be a fear of something being there or not long term that causes us to be internally anxious or stressed. Does that make sense? So I'm clearly going to address both in this video with the approach and idea that if you have a lot of stress, it's probably because you have a lot of problems that actually when you solve them will reduce the stress. However, some people are more anxious type of people, like I have been traditionally growing up, like a lot of my clients have been. Think a lot, go-getters, a lot of action, but just I've got to constantly keep ahead of things or else it's all going to fall apart. That's more of an anxious personality, and that's what anxiety is more akin to. And even though what I'm going to share here is going to help with all of this, just be aware of the fact that you might be not necessarily a more anxious baseline person and having stress, or you might be an anxious person and having stress too. And so let's dive into the first tip here, the first thing to really take a look at, and that is the all-time favorite, I'm sort of being sarcastic here, of taking some time away. Now, before you dismiss this, remember that I am coming from a place of not only being an entrepreneur myself, but actually coaching entrepreneurs around this one. Why am I saying this? Well, because everybody, your brother, your sister, your mother, your wife, your husband, your friends, especially the ones that aren't entrepreneurs, might be telling you, you need to take time away, you need to take time off. Yes, we've all been told that. And we're like, I can't, I have to do all this work. And so I get it. I've been there, and I'm not trying to say that you need to slow down and take time away in a vacation. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is the reason you need to is because if you don't let off, you can't actually find better solutions to the problems that you're currently solving. And if you're stressed right now, you certainly have problems in your business that you want to overcome and or might be putting out a lot of fires on the daily. I have 2 clients right now who have local based businesses, though I help clients that have online or more offline businesses or anywhere in between, and they have just acquired another business location and they are out of their mind busy. They're having staffing challenges, trying to keep people on board, things that a lot of local business owners have been struggling with since the pandemic, especially in this whole work culture shift, right? And so there are times where they have to cover for things in their business that an employee normally would have. I get it. So I'm not here to tell them, okay, you've got to do this and you've got to do that, because you're inside your business. I don't know what it's like to run that specific kind of business. I know what it's like to run my kind of business, but what I do know is how the mind works. And if there's all this stress going and there's always all this thought churned up and all this activity, then the problems that I know that you have and that I also know you can solve won't get solved as quickly, or they might cause other issues. Do you see what I'm saying? This is just a pure factual result thing. This isn't like a moral mandate. You should take time off because it's the right thing to do. And, because I work my job and I take time off and I don't understand why. And I'm speaking of the voice of like a friend or family member, right? I'm not coming from that at all. I'm talking about your performance in actually solving the challenges. And the way the mind works is if we don't let off, take a walk, meditate, maybe you need to take a little weekend vacation or a day off or something, whatever you determine that is. I'm even talking about, for some of you, a half-hour break, right? It's literally that bad for some of you watching this. You have to take that time and let the mind relax, let the thoughts simmer down. And then what's going to happen is solutions start popping up automatically. That's just the way the mind works, especially the subconscious mind. Now, of course, here I have to give the honorable mention to the big three, right? Sleep, exercise, and eating. How are those going? You have to check in. Sometimes it's, to try to change those all at once can be difficult. So that's why I'm going to start with the mind, take a little bit of time away, maybe ponder that as well, right? There's all kinds of benefits to mindfulness and meditation. You've seen all the studies and you might be a meditator. You might meditate and still be crazy busy, right? I have clients that come to me that meditate regularly, but because their mind's such a mess, it just gives them a little bit of relief. And then it's like, all the problems are still there, all the challenges, right? All the growth stuff that's happening, the stuff that needs to happen in their business to grow it, but they're not fundamentally shifting the way they're approaching it. So it's just a constant fire drill day in, day out. And so the second tip here is actually taking a look at, in a very simple way, and categorizing whatever problems that you have right now that are causing you stress that you're up against, categorizing them simply so you can effectively start to deal with them. And that is to categorize them into a people problem or a system problem, right? A people or a system. Is there something that you could automate or add a system in with your current staff, if you actually have employees or aren't just a solopreneur like I currently am, but I help coach, people with staff all the time, like the clients that I coach and have mentioned. Is there a tech solution, right, of some kind, or a system solution that could really, really quickly solve it? Now, of course, if you don't take the time away to kind of consider and sort these things, these go hand in hand, it might be hard to do it if you're working in the business instead of on the business and stepping away. So categorize these two. And then is it simply that you don't have the right staff and you need to hire? It can be that simple, because then you're having to take over the role, right? Or another employee is having to cover more and they're getting stressed and that stresses you. So then you take over their role some to take off the stress on them, but you're stressed, right? All that stuff. Now, maybe it's also a system of hiring, right? I helped a friend of mine who hired me as a consultant to come in and install a hiring system because they have a high turnover business in a local junk removal business that she has, right? She didn't have a really good hiring system. So I came in there, helped design that so that it was easy to interview people, get them in, quickly sort through who's good and who's not, and then, get them hired on. And then we're really going to see how they perform over a long time if they're a good fit for the company. But, it's kind of dirty in the field work, right? In terms of a junk removal and a cleaning business. But there's a system she didn't have, and they were really having a hard time hiring people until I came in and helped. So that was a system based on hiring people in this case, but still ultimately it was a system problem. So again, make those two lists and run through them so that it's really clear that, hey, I can go find a solution that doesn't require people, or I need to change something in my current systems to help my current staff, or if it's you, to do something better, right? And that should take the stress down. But you've really got to take a look at, right, fundamentally, what is causing me this stress? Is it something inside of me, or is it something inside of the business? Which leads into the next tip. And so the third tip here is to take a look at your current mind setup, your mindset, the way your mind is operating, and your beliefs, right? Your identity, which is the summation of your beliefs. So if you're sorting these problems and you see ways to handle them, but you're still stressed or anxious, that probably means you've got a belief identity issue going on, right? Which is what I specialize in helping people do. It's my favorite thing because it's so impactful and powerful, and often the least looked at thing that has the most impact for a business owner or entrepreneur. So really take a look, right? Because you've made your two categories around system and people problems, right? And then have a third category of, okay, well, what are the internal beliefs and perspectives that are causing me stress on top of these things? And not only that, in handling those things, because if you quickly come up with the solutions, you go get them done. It's really not, once you have clarity, you can go get it done. But if you're still feeling stressed, it's something in the way that you're operating. So you've got to start writing down, what are the situations? What triggered me? What could be the belief here, or the fear, or the resistance? And then start to sort through and look at how can I change those beliefs. And I've got another video on rewiring your brain. I also have a really awesome bootcamp series to help you overcome internal limitations. The link is in the description and the comments both. I really suggest that you sign up for that if you're an entrepreneur struggling right now with this, especially on the internal and mind side. Made it to help you out, and you should get on in there. And of course, there's always the option of getting some external help. It can be really difficult to sort this all out when all this stress and all these situations are occurring, right? And so if that's something you're interested in, I do offer coaching, right, on a limited and exclusive basis. At the making of this video, currently coaching is closed enrollment, but there's a wait list, and you can sign up for that and be notified right of when coaching is open, or perhaps it's open when you come across this video. But whether it's me or somebody else, some other coach, possibly a therapist, depending on what you're looking at dealing with, then it's always a great option, because talking with friends and family can only go so far, right? And that's why I love helping entrepreneurs the most, quite frankly, because I get the world of the entrepreneur. I get that there are some things that you're gonna have to solve yourself because you know all the intricacies of that business. Yes, are there people out there that can help, and mastermind groups that can help solve problems? Absolutely. But at some point, it's ultimately going to have to come from us that we buy into the decision. And it's amazing the solutions we can come up with when we really get control of our minds. It's just so powerful. I'm so passionate about it, and it really works. So there's always that support here if you need it. But hopefully, this video has helped you so far in getting some clarity, because clarity will lead you to the solutions that you need and to solve those problems, to lower that stress, hopefully. And that's all it takes. That'd be great. But if not, then there's some more work to do, obviously. And as always, drop a comment below or a question. Always love to interact with you guys down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you got benefit out of this. It helps tell the algorithm and send it out to other entrepreneurs who are struggling with anxiety, stress, and the like. And until next video, I'm complete.